The beautiful sights of Uptown Charlotte can only mean one thing. Day 3 of the 2025 ACC football kickoff is underway, coming to you live for the next 8 hours here from the Hilton in Uptown Charlotte. And we will see 6 more teams make their way up that escalator to our set. And we're talking a little football today again with some pretty big guests. As we say hello from inside the Hilton, I'm Kelsey Riggs-Cuff alongside former Clemson star offensive lineman captain Eric McLean, the mayor himself, and former Virginia Tech wide receiver, Hall of Famer, and longtime vet Eddie Royal. Great to be with you guys. On the other side of this break, we got some more players that are getting ready to come through. We're talking NC State, their quarterback CJ Bailey, ready to talk about the expectations for the Wolfpack. He's standing by. You're watching ACC Kickoff live from Uptown Charlotte.
I love the way he can play, and he's been around great talent coming from South Florida.
That's why I play quarterback. I like feeling the pressure.
Bailey throws to the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown.
But then the athleticism, okay? Extending plays, allowing time for receivers to get open.
So efficient and so accurate with the football.
Second most passing yards by a true freshman.
Going to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Wolfpack. CJ Bailey delivers.
CJ, he's ready for the moment.
The quarterback with the second most passing yards by a freshman in NC State program history. Quarterback CJ Bailey here with us now. It's good to see you, and CJ's been taking it all in. You said everybody's been pretty nice. Easy so far. Emax ready to come at you with all the hard questions.
Yeah, tough questions.
I'm coming at you with the easy one first because I see the smile as you sit down and you're taking it all in being here at kickoff. What's the experience been like for you now as the starting quarterback to start the year?
Yeah, it's been a great experience. You know, it's pretty fun. You know, getting to know my guys on the team, you know, exposing my leadership. And, you know, it's been a different offseason for me. You know, I've been taking steps, you know, I mean, doing what I wanted to do with the team, you know, getting to know everybody.
What's your leadership style like? Because you seem like a laid-back, easygoing type of guy. Do you ever get to that point to where you yelling and motivating?
Yeah, of course. Sometimes it does get to that point, but I would tell you a little bit about me. My energy says it all. You know, if I bring my energy every day, and everybody's going to reflect off of that. And, you know, it does get to those hard moments where, you know, I have to, you know, burst out. Sometimes, you know, I have to have the hard talks with some players, you know. So it comes down to that sometimes.
CJ, how was it last year when you were given the keys to the car and it was fully your team? Because there's been times historically since this network has lived that there was some hesitation to give the keys to a freshman, and situations happened that did. And when they did and they gave it to you, it looked like there was a different spark. But personally for you, how was that when that transition happened?
Yeah, personally, it was a great time for me in my life to get an opportunity to play a Division I, be a starter for a Division I school. And, you know, I took it all in. You know, I learned a lot from Grayson McCall when I was behind him. You know, learned a lot from him, and, you know, it helped me be a good quarterback. And, you know, it was a big step it was a big thing that I got all those reps that I did in that last year, because it's going to help this year. In spring, it was pretty smooth for me, and, you know, I learned a lot from last year.
So when the portal opened up, it was weird because your name was one that I was paying close attention to. I was like, man, because you were so good and so young, I knew a lot of teams were going to come after you. Ultimately, what kept you at NC State?
Yeah, I always wanted to be at NC State. I chose the school for a reason, but one big reason was the coaches. And, you know, it was Coach Roper and Coach Doran for me. And, you know, those guys, man, they believe so much in me, and I believe in them. They can, you know, get me to where I want to go. And, you know, Coach Roper he's a different guy, and when he got that offensive coordinator job, it definitely solidified everything. And I never had a second thought of going anywhere to begin with, but Coach Roper getting that job, you know, it made me feel comfortable.
You mentioned right off the top that this offseason has been about for you taking steps. What are some of those steps that you've taken this offseason in your game and as a leader? Yeah,
of course, as a leader, it was a lot from last year. You know, I was watching Grayson. You know, I had to, you know, not step on his toes. I want to do a lot, and I was also a freshman, so I was just watching him lead. And, you know, and I wanted to do more, but I couldn't because he was the starter. But this year it's been all me. You know, me putting things in place. And, you know, for my game last year, I'm trying to develop more of, being calm more in the pocket. Like it's a completion somewhere in our offense. He's calling the play for a reason, so it's a completion there. And I watched a lot of film of it last year of me getting out of pocket, breaking the pocket down when I didn't have to, when it was completion somewhere. So that's one thing I want to involve in my game, just being more calm in the pocket.
Now I know Coach Roper was on staff last year, but different offensive coordinator. Are we going to see a different offense going into this year, or is it going to be more the same of what we saw?
Yeah, it's going to be a different offense. Coach Roper thinks differently, and I love it. It's kind of more pro style, and I like that. I'm getting to learn more ball with him as the offensive coordinator. I'm getting more ball when he's the quarterback coach as well. So,
I think that certainly helps, right? When it's the same guy. That we see how different people try different positional coaches as offensive coordinator, but to me, it always should be the quarterback coach or just an offensive coordinator that's with the quarterbacks, not another position coach, because you're the most important piece of the puzzle. They need to know what you like, what you want, what you see from any given week here. Tell me about some of your playmakers, though, because guys that, were just on the cusp last year, it felt like, of exploding, that I think can this year. So who's some guys that have really been working hard?
I could go on and on about those playmakers.
We got time.
That's great.
I could start with Justin Jolie, a really great player. We got Noah Rogers. We have Wesley Grimes. We have Keenan Jackson, a young guy. Terrell Anderson, those guys got to show a little bit what they could do last year, but they're going to be really good playmakers for us this year. Our freshmen coming in, Teddy Hoffman, Jarrell Boulder, those two guys can play. Those guys can play. So in our backfield, it's really fun. And we got Hollywood Smothers, and I didn't get to see a little bit of Duke Scott last year. He's going to be a great player for us this year. I want everybody to watch out for Duke Scott and a freshman, DeAndre. He's going to be a really good player. So we got skilled talent around everywhere, and our offensive line is dominant.
Wow. What is the I guess relationship with you guys look like? What does the off season look like for you with your receivers?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time throwing, of course. Even though that we have a lot of good connection because we already played the whole season together, and it's been fun to see those incoming freshmen and guys that didn't get the ball to a lot last year. So in the off season we've been working on getting better timing on every route.
What about, you said you knew that you wanted to stay and wanted to be at NC State. Did you have to actively recruit some of these guys to stay on the roster as well?
No, it was a thing that I was the first guy to decide if I was going to stay or not, and I really feel like my decision really impacted the other guys. I didn't have to recruit anyone. Everybody came back because they wanted to. They wanted to be a part of NC State football, but with me just declaring that I wanted to stay, it kind of helped other guys come out.
You mentioned this is where you always wanted to be, so you knew you wanted to stay. You know what those coaches expect. You know what the standard that's been set at NC State is. So I know you guys are hungry after last year. How has that motivated you this offseason, and what have you seen from your guys?
Yeah, so we have a chip on our shoulder. There's a lot of people doubting us this year, and that's good for us because now I can see it. It's very different from last year. Workouts is pretty much different. Everybody's bringing a lot of energy to the table. Everybody knows what's at stake. Everybody knows what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. So it's been a really different vibe to the team. You know what I mean?
How about your defense? That was been such a staple for NC State for so long. And last year a little bit of a drop off. You lost 3 generational linebackers in a row, right? Yeah. 3 really good players, but also great leaders 1, 2, 3 years in a row there. And it was probably some guys searching for that. Some injuries, of course, that occurred as well. And you have a change of defensive coordinator. So what can we expect? What have you seen from those guys all off season?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of iron sharpen iron. Our defense is a really great defense, and that backer position is really good. We got Caden Fordham, who's the leader of that linebacker. We got Sean Brown. We got guys that can play, and our secondary is amazing. We have Jackson Vick. We got Devin Marshall. We got a guy from Georgia State, Jeremiah Johnson. We have Jamel Johnson. We have guys that can play everywhere. So they try to make it a little tough on me in practice, and that front with Brandon Cleveland leading it's really tough. So in practice it gets real. We really have fun in practice. It's like I said before, iron sharpen iron.
Well, CJ, we can't wait to see what you're able to do this year, starting off as the starter, taking over for the NC State Wolfpack. Looking forward to the season. And, guys, he's been giving some love to a couple of his teammates. Two of them are here, and they are over there with Justin Walters right now. Justin, it's the Justin, and Caden show over there.
Thanks, Kelsey. Alongside here, NC State tight end Justin Joly and NC State linebacker Caden Form. Appreciate you guys making the time. Justin, start off with you. CJ Bailey coming back, year 2 for him. At what point last season did you see things start to click?
Honestly, when he was just doing his own thing. You know, it didn't matter the play type. It was like he was going to get it done. Like, you've seen it a lot versus Georgia Tech when he scrambled and made a lot of touchdown plays on himself. It was amazing. I love seeing it.
Caden, for you were the team's leading tackler prior to going into that Syracuse contest, a season-ending injury. How tough was it for you last season? And in addition to that, how did you find your leadership skills growing? Because you weren't on the field, but you did your best to try to impact the team.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're taken away from the game you love, you know, and taken away from playing with your brothers. So it was tough for a little bit after it happened, just seeing them go out and play. But I had their back the whole way, you know, and it taught me a lot being a leader from the sideline, you know. I wasn't able to be out there with the guys sweating, bleeding, so it was kind of felt wrong to kind of speak up in a sense sometimes because I wasn't out there doing it. And I feel like it's made me such a better person because I was able to build relationships with guys kind of one-on-one and not so much out in front of the whole team, you know. So I feel like it helped me a lot as a leader.
Both of you guys have new coordinators. Start off with you, Caden. First thoughts of DJ Elliott.
Oh, I love Coach DJ. He's a hilarious guy. He's very smart when it comes to defensive scheme and stuff. So I'm very excited for what the year has to come and the relationship we continue to build.
You guys had an internal promotion with Kurt Roper. The familiarity that you have with him, and how's it going to bring out your best skill set?
I would say one thing I love about Coach Roper is his passion. I've been preaching that all day today. And you would think that he's like 20 years old and can still play ball on field. But, yeah, he has a multitude of weapons between, obviously, myself, CJ, Hollywood, and all the wideouts. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop him from, you know, being great.
Did you do anything different this offseason to prepare yourself for maybe increased production? Casey Concepcion no longer there. And you obviously set a record last year, and you could be one of his primary targets.
Man. Really, I just kept on playing ball, and just added more to it. Instead of, you know, obviously just working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, put a little Tuesday, Thursday in there, throw session after Wednesdays and Fridays, Saturday sessions, and just obviously Sunday to get back ready for the next week.
Caden, for you on defense, you guys are replacing 8 of your 11 starters, but when it comes to the second level of the defense, it's set. There's experience, obviously, with you there. How important is it for that group to set the tone?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about it. I mean, linebackers are the quarterbacks of the defense, you know, so we got to come out every week knowing the whole scheme for that week, knowing what we got to do so other guys on the field can feel confident in us when we give them those checks, those calls. So, yeah, and the guys in our room, we're a very close group of guys, so I'm very excited for what we have to come in the linebacker room.
All right, guys, I like to end off every interview with Justin's Jar. Some fun questions in here. I'm going to have you both pick out one, read it out loud, and answer it. Oh, you're going deep in the pile. First up, Justin.
If you could have one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? I would say a steak with mashed potatoes, gravy, and green beans on the side.
How do you like your steak?
Medium well.
All right. You guys slide over to medium. It tastes better.
I'll get there one day.
How about you, Caden?
So I got your Mount Rushmore of college football players. That's a tough one on the spot. I gotta.
That is. All right. So how about this? Give me your top 4 linebackers.
Oh, linebackers.
Mount Rushmore.
All right. Luke Kuechly.
All right, it's a good one. ACC ties,
yeah.
Boston College.
Ray Lewis.
Okay, good. That's what I was going to make sure.
I got to go with P. Wiz.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, last. Who's another guy I like a lot? Dang, I don't know. I feel bad if I'd say P. Wiz and leave out Drake, so I'm going to go Drake Thomas.
All right.
Hey, he was one of the best college linebackers I've seen. So.
Hey, at the end of the day, the question said you're Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, it's mine, so that's what I got.
Caden Form, back to see you fully healthy.
Yes, sir.
Justin Joly, best of luck this season, fellas.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we passed the midpoint of day 3 of the ACC kickoff. Coming up next, we're going to hear from the Wolfpack. Dave Dorn back for another season. They got 2 new coordinators, DJ Elliott as well as Kurt Roper. Stick around. We're live from Uptown Charlotte.
Ladies and gentlemen, both here in the big ballroom on the 3rd floor of the Hilton in Uptown Charlotte, and for those of you watching at home and in the office, we welcome you back inside as we are now joined by the Wolfpack of NC State. We have our student athletes who are coming up on the stage, and our head coach, Dave Dorn, will join us at the podium. Coach will offer a few opening comments, then we will get the Q and the A passed throughout the room. So, Coach, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Trip. How's everybody doing? You awake still? Seems pretty sleepy in here. All right. Overall, very excited to be back at NC State, going into year 13, and with this group of guys, and to be a part of a program that's done a lot of great things, and a very humble and hungry group of guys that are ready to earn where we stand in college football this year. And, rewinding back to when I first got here, there was a lot of goals I had for myself and for NC State. And to now fast forward and be one of, I guess, the 6th most tenured coach in college football, to be the winningest coach in school history, to be in 10 bowl games in the last 12 years, to build a sustainable model of success. I've had a back-to-back highest GPAs in school history. There's just so many positive things happening on our campus through the leadership of Boo Corrigan and Kevin Howell, our new chancellor. And to be with a group of guys that, like me, have a big edge to them. It's been probably the most coachable team I've had in a long time, coming off of a year where we felt like we left a lot of meat on the bone. They've been very focused, a lot of fun to work with, a lot of tough days, but days that they know that they've needed to push this needle where it needs to go. An addition of several players who I'm sure we'll talk about, but also some changes on the staff and to be able to promote former players from within. I guess that's when you know you're getting older as a coach. You know, when you get a recruit a young man like Isaiah Moore, Gavin Locklear, coach them, take them to graduation, see them work their butts off to try to continue as players, and then to get into the coaching ranks. And Gavin, now a full-time coach, actually Justin's coach in the tight end room. Isaiah Moore working with our linebackers, and these two guys have brought a lot of energy, and their blood is in the bricks, as I like to say, in this program. And then elevating Elijah Shaw from his role last year to assistant D-line coach and what he brings. And then, Kurt Roper's a guy that, storied offensive coordinator, not only in the ACC at Duke and the success that they had, but in his time in the SEC as an offensive coordinator. Been on my staff for a while now, and Kurt is a guy that brings a lot of energy. He knows how to create cohesion. I feel like this offense has a lot of talent. They were very young last year, so there's experienced guys that knew what to get better at. And it's not just having good players that matters. It's the players playing together. And I know Kurt's going to do that. Obviously, his relationship and the continuity that he brings with our quarterback, I'm sure he'll speak to. But there's a lot of trust there, and that's a big thing in this sport. Defensively, an area that I felt like we struggled last year was getting consistent pressure on the quarterback. And we had a lot of third downs that I think are winnable third downs where we didn't get off the field. And as a former defensive coordinator, pressure on the quarterback is a great fix. And the one thing about DJ Elliott's defenses over the years, everywhere he's been, he's improved their numbers in tackles for loss and sacks. He's learned a lot in his profession as a coordinator in the SEC, ACC, and Pac-12, but also in his time with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the one unique thing about both these coordinators is they're similar to me, similar to our players. We got something to prove. And I think for those of you that know me know that that's something I like. I like being in a room with guys that feel like they're being under the radar, feel like maybe there's some things we got to prove about our team, ourselves as coaches, as players. And so it's a really unique staff. We have gotten younger as a staff, and I think that energy is definitely contagious on the field for these guys at practice. We have really two different things when you look at our team. Our offense returns a lot of the players that played last year, with the exception of a few transfers on the offensive line. If you look at our skill players, Wesley Grimes, Noah Rogers, Keenan Jackson, Terrell Anderson, guys that played a lot last year at receiver are back. At tight end with Justin coming back and obviously improving. But adding an experienced player, Cody Hardy, who you guys haven't watched yet, who's really going to be a dominant player in the run game for us. Our tailback, Hollywood Smothers, really had some big plays for us last year, and then the emergence in the offseason of one of our young backs in Duke Scott. So we have a lot of guys back on offense, along with our quarterback. It's the first time I've had a returning starter at quarterback in 3 years. So your offseason as a head coach is tremendously different when you have an offseason with a starting quarterback. A year ago, he's trying to learn what it's like to be a college student. He's trying to learn an offense. He's trying to learn the names of his coaches, names of his teammates. This year, he's leading those guys. He's taking them out on the field and working on routes. And there's a different thing for him. It's a completely different place that he's in at 200-plus pounds compared to the 170-ish that he was when he got here. And so excited. And some key pieces defensively. We lost a lot of starters. There's a lot of guys that played that are back, but a lot of starters. So this fall camp will be a very competitive fall camp. I think DJ and the defensive staff did a really good job adding some quality pieces to the front. Kean Sloan, 7.5 sacks last year, really good pass rusher. Sebastian Harsh was a really good player at Wyoming. Adding those two guys to the edges of our defensive line. Trey Thomas comes in, a guy that can play multiple positions. And Brian Nelson, a guy that got a lot of accolades as a true freshman at North Texas, tested really well for us last week at corner. A safety that's played every position in the back end, and J.J. Johnson is just a really consistent and good communicator. Kenny Soares, the linebacker that played a lot of positions for Northwestern. So we've added some pieces that have been on the field playing at their other schools. And then we added some guys that were younger that bring a lot to the table. Jaron Sensabaugh, a defensive back, whose father had a great career at the school down the road and played in the NFL for a long time. A.J. Richardson, who's been a delight, great leadership, was a captain as a true freshman at his former school, so has proven leadership. And then DJ, he's like me, been through a lot, and through his different stops and learning, it's been fun because I've known him over 20 years but never worked with him, just sitting down and talking football. And he's a great translator of the changes that we're making. He's coached in this exact system at another school, and so he knows the verbiage of it, but he also knows how to translate the verbiage of it into other things that we're doing. We return all of our specialists, so it's nice to have, returning experience and proven guys as punter, snapper, kicker, and look forward to seeing what Jonathan Paylor and Hollywood Smothers and some of these guys can do as our returners this season. And, this league, conference of quarterbacks, puts a lot of teams in bowl games year in and year out, tons of players in the draft. I think is also similar to our program, undervalued and underlooked at times, but year after year has a team fighting to be in the national championship. And so proud to be a competitive member of the ACC and look forward to chasing our dreams and goals. And no different than every year. We have the same aspirations that we've had, and that's to win every game that we play and to put ourselves in a position to be in the conversation at the end of the year. And look forward to the opportunity starting Monday with these guys to show that we're ready to do that. I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, thank you. We'll take your first one right in front of you to the left, front row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. How are you, Coach?
Good, Dan.
To go off of what you were speaking on here and what you've done, 13 years, year 13 at NC State, we don't see that. It's atypical for coaches to be around that long. So just what you can say about why NC State and why build this program for the length of time you have. And then secondly, to go off of your comments on the ACC, if you feel like this is a multi-bid college football playoff caliber conference.
Yeah. NC State was the right fit for me. In my second year at NIU, we'd won a second straight conference championship. Our team was headed to the Orange Bowl. There was a lot of teams that were calling and asking if I would be interested. And at that time, I told Sarah, you know, if we leave, I want to leave for the right fit. I don't want to just chase a name or a school. I want to find something that fits our family. We had 3 sons that I didn't really want to move them again if I didn't have to. And I know that's unrealistic maybe in college football, but I never think about going somewhere and it not working, okay? I think about what I'm going to do when I get there and how I'm going to do it and the people I need along my side to do it with me. And I found that, you know, at North Carolina State, I found a blue-collar school where the fan base supports the student athletes, a place where I could live and be myself, a place where I could raise my sons, and a place that had the geography that I like, because I love to be outdoors, I love to fish and golf, and to be able to do that in 4 seasons was a blessing. And so we were fortunate, you know, like recruiting. We tell recruits, hey, find the right fit, and I did. And I had a lot of goals when I got here, and I've accomplished a lot of them. But there's still, as I said at the beginning, meat on the bone. You know, 10-plus wins, winning the ACC, being in the playoffs. These are all things that I think and know that we can do with the right players, right staff. And sometimes you got to have a few breaks, you know, staying healthy and things like that. As far as the league, there's no doubt that this league has shown that. And if you go back, I mean, just in my tenure, you know, with Florida State winning national championships, Clemson winning national championships, we've shown that we belong. And just to be candid, I'm not against multiple automatic qualifiers. I think that, you know, to me, I think that limits leagues. You know, you may have 6 teams that are in the top 20 in your league. Why would you only want 3 of them or 4 of them? You know, to me, it ought to be the top, whatever that number is in the playoffs, come up with an algorithm that takes human elements out of it, that rewards people for strength of schedule, quality wins, conference wins, all the things that, you know, you look at that mean something when it comes to successful seasons. Being a coach that actually was in the FCS, that was a part of playoffs, you knew that the top whatever we're in. We didn't have a conference championship game. You had to be in the top 12 or top 16, and, you know, so I've been a part of it where it wasn't messy. And, you know, the only team that's mad's the one that gets left out, that's the lowest ranked. And, you know, I think people can live with the best 15 or 16 teams being in there. So I think we're complicating things too much right now with what league deserves this or deserves that. And, you know, to that point, you know, college football just needs to do its best for college football, not what's best for the Big Ten, SEC, or ACC. We need to do its best for the sport.
We're going to squeeze in one last question. Coach, to your right, second row.
Coach Corey Smith with Pack Pride and 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Corey.
You talked about the fact that, you know, you saw some differences in terms of the offense back in the spring. What did you see as far as tangible differences having a guy like C.J. Bailey back, having Hollywood Smothers, having Justin Joly?
When you have returning players, they can build on previous experiences, and you can as a coach. Like, I can point out to those 3 players the areas that they did well and the areas they need to focus on to be better, and then you can see their focus on those areas and help them get to those points where they're improving. And that's, as you know, one of the things we pride ourselves on is being a developmental program, helping guys become better than they were. So when you have a returning player, you're allowed that opportunity. And I think that's one of the things that gets lost in the sauce of transferring. When guys leave, sometimes their development goes down. They may be going to a worse strength program and not know that. They may be going to a position coach that's not a developmental coach. He only coaches the guys that are going to play on game day, you know, and it's the opposite. We want to develop every player in our locker room. We don't care if you're a walk-on, if you're a starter, you're a backup. Our job is to help them get better. That's how we do things at NC State. And so those guys were diligent about being better. And it's not just as players, being better as people, being better as leaders, being better in your weak areas, you know. And so it's nice to be able to do that. In regard to changes in the offense, you know, I mean, when you watch offensive football on tape, taking play calling out of it and taking names of plays out of it, a lot of plays are the same, you know, same formations, same plays when you watch all teams. I mean, everybody in some ways run an inside zone, outside zone, counter. You have same route trees. It's how you package it so that within the game you can make adjustments and call plays the way you need to based on how you're being defended. And that's the one thing I like about the things Kurt's changed. You know, our offense is similar in some ways, and in some ways it's very different, in that he can manipulate things quickly with the verbiage that he's changed.
Coach, thank you. You can switch spots with
Thank
CJ.
you guys. Go Pack.
CJ, we've got about 5 minutes with you. And folks, if you would, please identify yourselves, the agency you are with. CJ, your first question will come to the right, third row.
CJ, you were kind of thrown to the wolves, pun intended, last year when Grayson McCall got hurt. Can you talk about some of the most important lessons you've learned becoming QB1 and a leader of this program?
Yeah, I learned a lot, especially from Grayson McCall. He was a great leader for me, great mentor for me even when he was done. I learned how to, every day be the same person, try to be more vocal, than what I was before. So at the end of that year, at the end of last year, that was what I was working towards, to just be a more vocal leader. And you will see some of those flashes in the spring ball that we just had. I was very, and still is, a very vocal leader. But overall, the type of leader I am, I'm an energetic guy, and that's what I bring to the table.
CJ, left side, third row.
Hey, CJ, Scout Hughes with WIZS Henderson. To end last year, you guys played East Carolina. You also played them to start this year. What's that going to be like in terms of just getting back at the Pirates?
Yeah, it's just always exciting to get on that field for that first time, and that game one is going to be really fun, and the way we prepare for it is going to even be funner. I can't wait to step out for the first time with my guys and see what we're really made of.
CJ, right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC and Locked On Wolfpack. CJ, Coach Doran talked about what it meant to bring a quarterback back, and that this is the first time that's happened in quite some time. Can you explain what the difference is in kind of knowing, hey, I'm in the front seat, I'm in the driver's seat, this is my team per se as the quarterback one here, as opposed to being in a situation where you were expecting to kind of be mentored and nurtured into playing this year?
Yeah, it's a big difference. Like last year, I just was sitting back and letting Grayson do his thing, and there's a lot of things I wanted to do last year, but I didn't want to step on Grayson's toes. Just be more a leader than what Grayson was. So I just observed, and coming into this year is very different. In spring it was very different. I used my voice more, as I said before. I was way more than what I was last year, and I think. What happened, not to any knock to Grayson, but I think that I got the chance to, experience being a starter of the team.
CJ, if you want to push those microphones up just a little bit, you can. And your next question will be to your left side, front row.
CJ, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Working with offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Kurt Roper, how has he helped you evolve your game up to this point?
Yeah, Coach Roper is, for one, he's a great guy, phenomenal guy, but he helped me, every day. Like every day I go in that room with him, in the meeting room, I gain some type of knowledge and some type of, understanding of the game better. And, it's great that he's our offensive coordinator because he understands me and I understand him. He's my quarterback coach still at the end of the day, so.
CJ, right side, second row.
CJ, Brian Purtle with Pat Pride on 24/7 Sports. A lot of new guys coming to the O-line group this year, whether it's Teague Anderson or Jalen Grant, the transfer portal. Spike Souls coming in as a highly touted freshman. How much have you been able to kind of get to know those guys on and off the field, and how much were you looking forward to working with those guys this season?
We got a great group of guys up front, and I spend a lot of time with them. We've had a couple dinners so far. I have fun with them, joke around with them a lot, but some of those guys are returners, and, we already had that connection. This is, guys like you just said, like Teague and JG. I try to get to know them more, and I did a good job. I feel like I know them, like I just know them a lot, and they know me.
CJ, your last question will be on the left side towards the back of the room.
Anthony Yarrow, 305 Sports. CJ, what's it mean to represent Miami at this stage as a rising sophomore?
It's great. I feel good to represent the city of Miami. That's where I'm from, and taking what I got to North Carolina, showing them what I got, and putting on for the city. 305 has just been good. It's been great, and I feel like I'm doing a great job.
CJ, thank you. You and Caden can switch spots.
Thank you.
We'll spend about 5 minutes with our linebacker. Folks, please identify yourselves and the agency, and we will get started. Who would like their first question for Caden? Caden, right side. We'll take back-to-back questions, third row, then second row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked on ACC and Locked on Wolfpack. Caden, NC State has prided themselves on their defense for quite some time under Tony Gibson. Last year, it seemed like things took a little bit of a step back in terms of performance, and I know that your injury was part of that. So looking forward to this year, looking forward to new coordinator, new system, all those things, do you think that all of that newness is kind of the shot in the arm that this unit needed to kind of get back to what the expectation is set at for NC State defenses?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we go out on the field as NC State defense, we expect to dominate. We expect to play physical and tough, and I believe this offseason was big for us. Getting a lot of the new guys in here, kind of showing them the ways of how we do things here is huge for us. But as far as me coming back, Sean, some of the guys that have been there for a while, we got to see guys like Drake, Peyton, Zay, how they did things. And I mean, last year, you're right, it wasn't up to the standard, but this year is a new year, and we're going to come out and prove that we're back. We're going to uphold that standard and play ball on defense.
Kate is still on the right, gentleman in front of him.
Corey Smith with Pack Pride on 24/7 Sports. Caden, going back to last year, that injury, first of all, how much of an eye-opener was that for you and kind of change your perspective on the game of football, but also where are you at from a health standpoint heading into fall camp now?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're taken away from the sport you love so much, I mean, it's difficult. But thankfully, I got my brothers. They were with me the whole way. Coach Doran helped me a ton. My dad, he was in my corner the whole time. My faith in the Lord helped me get through it all, and it was an eye-opening experience. I learned how to lead from a different perspective. I was on the sideline. I wasn't really out there with the guys doing it the whole time. So it was a big step in my leadership, learning how to talk to guys and show them things one-on-one instead of being, out there in front of the team. So it was such a blessing. Anytime you get to play this sport, you can never take it for granted. So, and then as far as it goes right now, I actually just went home, got cleared, so we're ready to go, and I'm excited for fall camp.
Caden, left side, first row.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Caden, you just spoke about your faith there. Just having faith in the chaos of adversity and how faith guided you through that storm that you had with the season-ending injury.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rock. I mean, faith is means so much more to me than any game. So having that strong faith really helped me get through those dark times. I mean, also, like I said, being with the guys, anytime I was with them, it made everything so much better. It felt like I was out there the whole time. But, yeah, definitely having a relationship with Christ, it was huge during those times.
Any other questions for Caden for the room? Caden, seeing none, you can switch spots with Justin. Thank you for your time. Justin's with us for the next 5 minutes. A question for our wide receiver, please. We're going to go left side, third row.
Tight end.
My fault. If I'm going to do this for 17 schools, I'm going to have one position error, so I apologize that it's you.
You're good.
Thank you. Left side, third row.
Scout Hughes, WISDS Henderson. I really like the red suit. That's awesome. Just speak about the pack culture and what it means to be a part of the Wolfpack and how the whole city of Raleigh's behind you guys.
Honestly, I would say that's really the reason I committed here. When I got here, I was like, I didn't know where I should go out of the portal coming out of UConn, but the people here, it looks like the people I could look at to my left is like that's my family right there, and everyone who wears red and represents the Wolfpack. It's not just one person; it's a pack. It's a pack for a reason. So I would say that was definitely a big moment for me in my culture.
So Justin, let me follow that up from the podium. You're now 18 months in. What have you learned being a Wolfpack that may stay with you for the next 30 years?
That you can rely on your people. Like, I can count on, if I ever need anything, I know I can call up Coach Doran, CJ, Biscuit. I can call up on all of them to, to help me out if I need anything.
Thank you. Right side, third row.
Kenton Gibbs with Locked on ACC. Justin, you were listed as one of the top 5 tight ends on NCAA or College Football 26. And yet it seems like nationally you don't get the respect and the accolades that some of the other guys mentioned in that same breath and vein do. And Coach Doran talks about how, NC State players have an edge and have that chip on their shoulder. Is that something that adds that chip to your shoulder to say, hey, I've proven myself, I've shown up statistically, I am one of those guys, even if, I don't get that love necessarily?
Honestly, it doesn't really faze me because at the end of the day, I know who I am as a player, and I think my teammates know what I'm capable of. So preseason, they can have the top 5 tight ends. That doesn't worry me. At the end of the season is when I really want to shine.
We're going to go right side, second row. Either one's fine. Thank you.
6-1 Hub does the other. Justin, Brian Purtle with Pat Pride on 24/7 Sports. This is a very versatile tight end group with yourself. Coach mentioned Cody Hardy as guys going to move some bodies. Dante Daniels back, another very large man. A lot of excitement around a freshman like Gus Ritchie, excuse me. But how much are y'all embracing that versatility and be able to do a lot of different things on offense in different ways in your group?
I think versatility is like one of the best things you can have on offense because it's like very unpredictable. You never know, like if I'm in, if it's a run play, or if Cody's in, if it's a run play or a pass play. Like having that and having all different statures when it comes to tight end, it also I think helps the offense out a lot because it's like, dang, we don't know what's gonna happen. We just gotta take a guess.
Justin, left side, first row.
Justin, recently you posted a 007 chain. Just go into your personality and how you define your personality, and if we can see that in the chain, which you said coming to a field near you.
Oh, yeah, man. 007 James Bond. I'm rocking number 7 this year. I rocked number 7 my senior year of high school. So, I got a little personality in me if y'all couldn't tell. But, yeah, I'll come to a field near you.
Justin, right side, second row.
Charlie Grable, 24/7 Sports. Justin, talk about your relationship with CJ Bailey and how you've gotten now at full Austin to kind of work with him and build a rapport.
I remember when CJ first, took the helm over, became QB1. I was like, hey, fam, if you need someone to rely on and you need like a reliability factor, you can come to me like for anything. And that relationship has grown. He's like relied on me on for things that sometimes there's some routes I shouldn't have ran, but he gonna give me the ball in an open moment. And CJ, I love you for it, and don't stop. Ever. But like with that, like me and him, we were rooming together, here at the hotel, and me and him, we were just bickering, having fun. It was just like going back and forth because that's what brothers do, and I think that's really what me and CJ's relationship are.
Any other questions for Justin? Will Justin left side, second row?
Daniel Suzanne with Technician. There's been a lot of noise going on with the basketball program and in Chapel Hill, obviously, with Belichick. How has that helped you and the rest of the offensive skill position group, which has retained a lot of players? Have you guys been able to bond and fly under the radar? How has that helped you guys?
Honestly, we just block out the noise. Like, no offense to any of y'all, but we're not really worried about what anyone else says. We worry about what in-house says. At the end of the day, we're the one who plays football, so like, I love all y'all. I appreciate all y'all for coming out, but it really don't matter.
Justin, your last question from me. Are you sure you don't want to be a wide receiver?
No, I promise, man. I love being a tight end.
NC State, thank you. We'll see you out on the trail. Good luck this year.
Thank you, guys.
Folks, thank you for your 3 days here in the press conference room. If the staff can be of any help to you during your journey throughout the next couple of months, do not hesitate to let us know, and we will see you somewhere out there. Thank you.
Great hearing from the NC State players. Here he comes, Dave Dorn, chatting it up with Eddie Royal before he takes a seat with us on set. More live from Charlotte, North Carolina as ACC Kickoff continues. We're almost there, folks. Welcome back to ACC Kickoff here in Uptown Charlotte. This place is buzzing. People everywhere. A lot of them here to see Wolfpack head coach Dave Dorn.
Oh, yeah.
The people come out for NC State, that's for sure. Joining us now on set, along with Roddy Jones, who decided to join us up here well.
I was told very late, get out here because I forgot.
He's got his NC State tie on, Coach. He's got a red tie for you.
It takes a lot for me to put on red, but
that's not red, first of all.
I know.
Maroon 5. Sorry, dude.
It's more Florida State garnet, if you ask me.
Gross.
Coach, great to see you. We were just chatting. Your 13th ACC kickoff.
Yeah.
Is this one different at all? Does it get old? What does it feel like when you're walking around these halls?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get old because every year it's different guys you're with. And for me, you used to get kind of nervous because, this isn't what we do. We coach. But it's fun seeing the players. Like, I enjoy watching these guys. They get their suits on, their big personalities come out, and then, they get put on the spot a little bit. And so I think they start to appreciate how hard it is, to be interviewed too. But I've enjoyed it, and we had a good dinner together last night, broke some bread, had some good red meat at the Crunkleton.
All right.
Yum.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Love
trying to put a
Crunkleton.
spot out. Maybe I can get an NIL deal with those guys.
Boy.
Did you get the beignets for dessert?
Man, that place is really good.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Coach, you talk about your players and meeting CJ, phenomenal human being. I mean, this kid, he got up here. He was awesome. You don't got to worry about him in front of the media. He does a great job. And just the growth of him. I mean, shoot, I think he grew an inch from the last time
He
I
said
saw him.
6'6",
Yeah,
at least 6'7".
He's
That's
6'7"
a big
all
boy.
the way.
Yeah.
How's he changed as a leader year 2 leading this offense?
Well, his confidence level shot up. Last year he was just trying to survive and figure out what it's like to be a college student, and then bam, he's a starter mid-season. And, learning an offense, learning how to play at this level, and now he's a returning starter. So it's been fun as a head coach to have a returning starter at quarterback. First of all, I haven't in a while. And it changes the offseason, I mean, the guys know who that trigger man is. They can do a lot of things. We can plan a lot of things around that. And he's put on 30 good pounds of muscle since he arrived on campus. Our strength staff's done a great job. But, 6'7" and over 200 pounds and confident and experienced, I like that a lot.
I like it too, especially when you've got new coordinators on both sides of the football. I mean, you have been such a beacon of stability over the course of your time. You've hired coordinators, obviously, but doing 2 in 1 year. What has it been like to have that energy change at the top? I mean, obviously, Kurt Roper's been in the program. He's been around. Like, what is that like, though, to have the new energy at the top, speaking to both the offense and the defense?
Yeah, it's different when you look at our team. Like, our offense returns a lot of players. We were really young last year. And so we have young, experienced players back. You look at Noah Rogers, Hollywood Smothers, Wesley Grimes, Justin Jolie, and CJ. Kurt's been with these guys, so even though he's the new play caller, it's not a newness like bringing in someone that didn't know anyone. He knows everyone's name, knows their strengths, knows their weaknesses. And Kurt's really good at bringing things together and synergizing, and that was important to me. It's not just being talented, it's being together on that side of the ball. Tony Gibson did a great job for us, and I'm glad he's a head coach and excited about the opportunity to evolve with DJ Elliott. Everywhere DJ's been, their defenses have improved in tackles for loss and sacks. And to me, it was an area that we fell short last year. We needed to get more disruption on the quarterback.
Was it a foregone conclusion with Coach Roper? I mean, as soon as you made the decision to make a change, was he immediately the name, or what was that process like for you?
I go through a lot of things mentally at the end of the season and assessing all coaches, personnel, everything. And I knew that it was a time that I needed to do something different on offense. And as I was thinking about that, obviously, is what are you going to do next? And Kurt's name just kept in my head. This is the right thing to do. He is a galvanizer, and when you have talent, you got to get your talent to play for each other, play together. I have a quarterback that inspires people to do the same, and Kurt and CJ are on the same page, and so I think there's a lot of good in what happened over there, and I'm thankful for what Coach and I did for our team. He's done a lot of good things here, but it's time to evolve in a different way.
Did it play into the decision knowing the relationship with CJ? Because it's scary at time in college football knowing that you could lose your quarterback to the portal, and he was a hot name. So knowing that keeping Kurt on as the OC would help me keep CJ, did that play into your mind at all?
It came up a lot after the decision was made as one of the reasons I made it. It had nothing to do with it. I felt like Kurt was the right person at the right time to lead our offense. Part of that decision is that our quarterback trusts him as a human being. And I think you guys would all agree, trust is a big thing in this sport. When you trust your coach, man, there's nothing you wouldn't do for that guy. And so that part of it mattered to me. But I wasn't worried about somebody leaving. If that's what happened, that's what happened. I got to make decisions for the entire NC State family. Right. And so those decisions are bigger than one person.
Coach, you've earned a reputation over the course of your time at NC State that when people aren't thinking about or counting on or talking about NC State, you knock down a lot of doors and surprise a lot of people. But over the course of your tenure, you've seen ups and downs. How would you characterize your tenure at NC State, the 12, almost 13 years that you've been there?
Well, we've been to 10 bowl games in 12 years. It's been a program. It's been very stable. We've won a lot of football games. We've won a lot of big football games. We've been knocking on the door with 9 wins 3 times, and unfortunately, one of those opportunities was during COVID when the bowl game was canceled.
We could say UCLA chickened out of the bowl game.
I'm glad you said it. But we're right there, and we've put a lot of players in the NFL. So I think we've built a tough program that's a model of stability, and we're a program that wants more than that. We want to be a 10-plus win team, and we know that it takes some really big last-minute wins. Those one-possession games. Last year we won 6 games and lost 5 in the last 60 seconds. And so, those kind of things haunt me because I know how close we were in some ways.
Yeah. Coach, I think to summarize it is winner. Everything you just said. Winningest coach in program history. It's what you do. It's what you know. And it's what we come to expect from NC State. Let's look to the defensive side of the ball. Some great players that you have back again. A lot of experience over there. What is your expectation for that side?
Well, I love being strong in the middle, and we are. Brandon Cleveland will be one of the best nose guards in the country. And Caden Fordham, coming off his injury, was cleared last week. So we have one of the toughest middle linebackers, toughest nose guards. And then we had to go out and find the perimeter pieces. We lost a lot of guys on the edge with Davin Van and in the secondary. So we've gone out and recruited well and found some players. Kean Sloan from Utah State had 7.5 sacks. Sebastian Harsh from Wyoming, 2 really good edge players. When you have a good edge pass rush, it helps your nose guard because now the quarterback's stepping up in the pocket. Watching the Super Bowl was kind of an eye-opener to me. You saw, and my team is the Chiefs. You guys know that. But I watched a 4-man pass rush of the Eagles take down one of the greatest offenses in the country. And we need better pass rush. And so I put a lot of effort and energy into recruiting that. Our defensive line, Coach Wiles and now Coach Shaw, have 2 guys in that room that can really focus on that. And Coach Elliott is known for creating negative plays with what he does.
It feels like it would be simple, but I know it's not that simple. How do you guys improve in terms of running the football this season? Because I know you'd be the first to say we have to be better in that area if we want to be a complete offense.
You hand the ball to Hollywood Smothers.
Yeah,
first of all.
it is that easy.
That's a great idea.
There you go.
That's the first thing you do. But no, I mean, it starts with your O-line, and 5 is 1. I'm excited about Teague Anderson, who we brought in, really good player from Utah State. Jacarius Peak's over 300 pounds finally, and he's been playing in the 280s. And so our 2 tackles are going to be really good players. We got experienced inside players. And then your tight ends, Cody Hardy, who nobody talks about because Joe Lee gets a lot of the attention, is one of the best blocking tight ends I've ever seen. And so I'm looking forward to running the football better, and that's going to help our quarterback.
Coach, starting off against ECU.
Yeah.
I know camp's coming up. You don't focus on your team, but that's a big one for you guys.
It is. Yeah, I mean, it was probably my most embarrassing moment as a coach, not because we lost to them, because of how things went after the loss on the field. It's an embarrassing thing to get in a fight on the field. It's disrespectful to the game of football and to the school that I work for. And so I look forward to playing them and playing our kind of football. Our guys know what it means to me. They were very, very sternly talked to after that game. They know what it means to me to get back on the field. Have nothing but respect for who we're playing, but it's going to be about us going into that one, and we need to go out and put our best foot forward.
What does that do for your team, having the revenge game so quickly after what happened at the end of last year?
It's more than that. To me, it's about respect and doing things the right way. You guys know me. I'm a blue-collar, tough guy, but I also carry a lot of respect for the game of football and how you treat people. I think the golden rule is the best rule in all of the world. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And in this sport, it's okay to win a game and go up to the guy that you beat and say, hey, man, you played your ass off.
Right.
Great job. It doesn't have to be about all that other stuff. And as football players, we should want to beat each other. We should want to impose our will on each other, and we should respect the guy on the other side that's trying to do the same.
Coach, just to go back to your quarterback and to see the growth, and you talk about the experience, and he brought that up too. He said, it's been unbelievable for me to have what I did last year, not expecting to have it at all. What, I guess, do you expect from him growth-wise? What things did you maybe say, hey, I need you to work on this and that this offseason?
The leadership is the biggest area. As a player, he's going to be better because he played. Experience is something a coach cannot give a player, and so that's going to help him. He has those, whether it was how he prepared in a good game or if he didn't play the way he wanted, how he prepared that week. his growth and his body. But more than that, it's the chemistry he has with Noah Rogers, Justin Jolie, Hollywood Smothers, Wesley Grimes. He's been with these guys for 18 months, and they know him and he knows them. Last year, he's still trying to figure out where he goes to, hey, where do I get my student ID? Hey, where do I go here? Where do I do, you know? Like he's a vet now. He knows what he's doing, and the guys respect him. He's earned that respect.
Coach, had a little insight from Rick Neuheisel that you're a guitar player?
I am.
How often do you get a chance to play? Did you bring the guitar with you? Probably not.
I didn't have a request, so I didn't bring it.
Yeah, what's up with that, Roddy?
All right,
You're a little
noted.
late, buddy.
Down the road, maybe, but no, I love playing the guitar. I love music. It's definitely one of my passions. I can't sing as well as Rick, but I enjoy it. And there's a tournament that we all play in every year, and that's part of the nighttime entertainment. The coaches get up and play and sing, and everybody helps out. But it's fun.
Awesome.
None of these videos have ever made it to Twitter?
Thank God.
Oh, I would love to see that. Real quick before you go, non-football question. Best catch fishing this summer? Do you have one?
Yeah, I caught a bunch of striper. We took 15 players fishing at a guy's pond that is loaded with fish, and caught a bunch of big stripers this summer. It was fun. And I enjoyed, like CJ caught his first fish and did a victory lap around the lake. I had a DB that won't touch fish, so he had on gloves. on both hands.
That is awesome.
And then there's other guys that know what they're doing, and they're doing it all. And I'm just bringing fish in, and they're laughing. We had a great time, but yeah, they were pretty big. We caught some big fish that day.
That's amazing. Do they unhook their own fish at least?
Some of them did.
Some of them do.
And
some put on gloves.
Those are the memories that those guys will never forget.
No question. Yeah, we stayed the night in a cabin. They're all in bunk beds together. It was
what
awesome.
a dream.
Yeah.
More memories upcoming in 25, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Go Pack.
All right, go Pack, as always, from head coach Dave Dorn. You walk away feeling what about this upcoming season, Eddie?
Excited, and some of the dark horse teams I'm even more excited about. You talk about an NC State team that not many people are talking about, and just seeing the maturity of CJ Bailey, seeing how tall he is, it's great. I can't get over it.
And I'm always impressed with the student athletes. They continue to be top-notch every single year. So I had
the watches got better this year.
The watches got flashier. How about the chain on
money.
Kyle Lewis? That
Not really a chain guy.
sharp?
It was cool. That was cool. But the watches were crazy.
Can't hide money,
Good for them.
as they say. And it's
Happy
been a
for
fun
them.
week to get to be back with you guys. We announced ACC Huddle, new format coming at you
Hey,
10
let's
to
go.
noon every
We're about
Saturday.
to
We
bring
got a
that stuff.
studio
Get ready.
presence as well. For Eric McLean, Eddie Royal, I'm Taylor Tannenbaum. For everybody else involved too, Coach Mark Rick, Tom Luganbill, Wes Durham, Roddy Jones, Kelsey Riggs, Cuff, the rest of the crew, everyone behind the scenes who's been with us for all 24 hours of TV. We'll see you later.